Hi, my name is Tony, and I am about ready to get started in a Yin Yoga practice. If you've never done Yin Yoga, it's all about your deep connective tissue, mainly in your joints. Um, and there's three principles to Yin Yoga, one of which is finding your edge. So let's say you're doing the butterfly pose, you're leaning over, and you keep going until you can find where your comfort zone is and go right past that, because what you're going to do here, which is the second principle, is you're going to hold the pose for the duration of probably 2 or 3 minutes. And the last principle is to be still. Okay, so let's get started, and you'll see what I mean as we go along. So let's sit in the easy pose, and let's just close our eyes. Take some deep breaths just to get ready here. So I'm just going to breathe deep, hold it, just pause there for a second, and then let it out. And pause here for a second. And breathe in again. You can breathe in through your nose, pause here, and then you can let it out through your mouth. Okay, let's do one more. And pause and let it go. Let's do one other thing here. Let's do a quick body scan. And you can also do this body scan in each pose that we do. It's optional though, but to start with, we're going to just go to the top of our head, pay attention there and relax. Go down to your eyebrows, relax your eyebrows, relax your eyes, your whole face, your neck, your throat. Just go down to your chest and your upper back, going down to your torso and your mid back, under your pelvis, lower back, just noticing and relaxing anything that's tense, just letting go. Down to your glutes, your thighs, your knees, calves, shins, ankles, feet, toes, just relaxing all that. Coming back to your shoulders, let them go. Upper arms, down to your elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingertips. And take a deep breath and just do a full body scan and make sure everything is relaxed. Okay. To start, let's come into child's pose. So with child's pose, you're going to get on your knees, tops of your feet on the mat, and just sit back on your heels. So usually with child's pose, if you put your knees together, you'll get more of a rounded spine. If you put them more apart, you can get a straighter spine and a further stretch. So I usually start with my knees apart. But either way, you're going to slide forward or take little baby steps with your hands and go as far as you can. Put your elbows down and let your head hang on the mat. And we're going to just stay here, hold this pose, do some final adjustments, and breathe into this continuously, breathing in and out. You can do a body scan here but mostly just relaxing right into it. Notice your arms, let them relax, your shoulders, your upper back. And just be still here. Breathing deep if you need to. Remind yourself to relax again. Okay, on your next exhale, just slowly push yourself back. Coming up back to your seated, and we're going to actually go sit down on our glutes and come into the butterfly pose. So the butterfly pose is where you put your soles together, soles of your feet, and just sit like this. So in this pose, when you find your edge on this pose, if it's too much for you, you can push your feet out forward, which may help, right? But try to start with your feet as close to your body as possible. And we're just going to lean forward like we did before, and just take a second here to do some adjusting to get it to the point where you found your edge. So when you get to a certain point, put your elbows down and put your palms up and breathe and let your head hang. And like I said, if it's too much, just bring your feet forward and let your head hang, your spine round. Any final adjustments here? And you're gonna find that in this pose that as you go along, you might have to readjust a little bit. But you're just gonna let your head hang here, right? And you can do a body scan here while you're in this pose. And take a deep breath and let it out. And just relax right into this. You'll feel it mostly in your legs, like your thighs and your hips, your lower back. And just be still and hold it. But if you do need to make an adjustment here on this pose, go ahead and do that. And then just relax right into it. Let your head hang. You can close your eyes and focus on your breath. Finding any parts of your body that you may be holding. Usually in this pose, it's the neck. So just let it go, let it hang. Relax again. And breathe. Okay, a couple more breaths here. Okay, on your next exhale, slowly push yourself back up with your hands, one vertebrae at a time, and come back into your seated position. And we're going to move into the shoelace pose. So the shoelace pose, I'll just face you for this, is where you take your legs and cross them like this. So you're basically your knees are stacked, right? And if you try this and you switch to the other side real quick, you'll see that one side, at least for me, is harder to do. So let's start. I'll face this way now. Let's start with your bending your left knee and tucking it under, and taking your right knee and stacking it on top. And we're just going to bend forward again. So this one, you're really going to feel this in your hips and probably your knees, more so in one knee than the other. But again, we're just going to lean forward slowly. And this one, for me, I really find my edge real soon, like right around in here. So if you can go forward and put your elbows on the mat with your palms up, that's great. But for me, I'm just going to use my hands and lean about right around in here. And again, you just let your head hang and just readjust until you find it. And you'll really feel it in your right hip. You can do a body scan here. Just listen, watch your breath. Let your head hang. And come back to noticing your breath. Your breathing is very important in all these poses. And every so often, take a deep breath. It'll help you relax into it. Okay, a couple more breaths here. And on your next exhale, just push yourself back up with baby steps. Come up slow. Always go in and out of these poses very slow. And release your legs. And now we're going to flip them, the complete opposite. And like I said, for me on this side is a little bit harder. So same thing. You're just going to take little baby steps forward. Find your edge. Let your head hang, your spine round. And just stay here. Hold the pose. Be still. Breathe. You'll definitely feel this in your left hip. If it's too much, you can always back up a little bit. Just back off and breathe deep. It helps you to release and let go. Get deeper into it. Let your head just hang. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just whatever your body feels. And if you need to back off, that's good. Couple more breaths here. Okay, on your next exhale, let's just slowly push up. Slowly come back. Okay, we're gonna go into the Sphinx pose. So just come to a tabletop position, and make sure I have room here. And you're just gonna lower yourself down to your elbows and on your belly. And if you're on your belly, just put your elbows up. And on this pose, you're going to make sure your shoulders are down, right? Not kind of up like this, but they should lock into position if you just push them down. And you can bring your palms up, but basically, you'll find that if you push your elbows forward, it may be easier for you to find your edge. So do some adjustments here, and just let your hips sink into the mat. Let your lower back relax and just breathe. And I think on this pose you might want to breathe a little bit deeper because we're kind of in an open position to where it's easier to breathe. So you can take a few deep breaths. You can let your head hang if you want. Relax your glutes. Keep your shoulders lower. Relax your hands. Okay, a couple more breaths here. Okay, on your next exhale, just put your palms on the mat and bring your knees to tabletop. And from here, we're going to get into the dragon pose. So what you're going to do here is let's start with our left knee and the top of the foot flat on the ground. It's kind of like a low lunge, but pretty much you just bring your right foot, bend your knee, right foot in between the hands, and let your hips sink. So you can either leave your head up like this. I find it easier just to let it round down and rest your chest on your thigh. So again, just find your edge here and let your hips sink. Breathe. This is another position where you could breathe a little deeper. And you should be feeling this in your left hip. If you find that you've gone past your edge, you can bring your left knee a little bit more forward. A couple more breaths here. Okay, on this exhale, let's come back to tabletop. And we are going to switch sides. So bring your left foot forward in between your hands, and your right knee and the top of your foot should be on the mat. Resting your chest on your left thigh, letting your head hang. Let your hips move forward and sink down. You can let it sink down even more as you go along. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. Okay, let's release that and come back to tabletop. And we're going to get into some reclined spinal twists. So you sit in a seated position, and let's see if I can move back maybe. So come back. I think I'm okay here. Just come back, lay on your back with your knees bent. I have to slide down a little bit. So with your knees bent and together, just bring them up and hug your knees to your chest and roll a little bit to massage your lower back. Okay. So put your feet on the ground. Put your arms in a T and fold your knees to the left. And as you do that, you can slightly look to the right. And when you get there, you put your palms up and breathe into this. If you need to make some minor adjustments, you might have to either bring your knees closer to your chest or further away. For me, if I bring them closer, that's kind of where my edge is. It's okay if your knees aren't touching. It's whatever works for you. Just relax your legs. Relax your neck, shoulders. Okay, we're going to come back and hug our chest again. So look straight up, bring your knees straight up, hug your chest again, just for a second. Okay. Feet back on the ground, arms in a T, and fold to the right, and look to the left. Your back might even crack here. Mine just did. And then breathe. Palms can come up. And completely relax into this pose. Make sure to relax your legs, especially the right leg. Make sure your neck isn't strained. It should just be completely relaxed. Relax your back. Breathe. And we're going to release this pose. Open your eyes, bring your knees up, and we're going to come into Shavasana. So I'm going to have to move up a little bit here. So your legs go straight out, let your feet flop to either side, palms up, let your whole body sink into the mat here. We'll probably be in this pose for 4 or 5 minutes. So take a big deep breath in and out, and do one more body scan here where you notice the top of your head all the way through your face, especially your eyebrows and eyes. They tend to get the most tense, and you probably have to come back to them ever so often and relax them down to your neck, shoulders, chest, and upper back, shoulder blades, torso, the mid back, the pelvis and your lower back, your glutes, thighs. Just relaxing your knees, your calves, ankles, feet and toes. Just relax them. Your shoulders down to your upper arms, your elbows. Relax everything. your wrist, hands, fingers. And one more time, go back to your eyes and make sure they're relaxed. Your jaw. Just sink into the mat here. Notice any sounds around you. Become very aware of everything, especially your breathing. Come into your breathing now and notice how your chest rises and falls. Be very aware of your breathing and stay with it. Also notice your thinking. Just let your mind think. Just witness it. Letting all your thoughts just come and go. If one of your thoughts takes you away, just come back to your breathing. Your breathing is your home base. And I will let you know when we're done. A couple of deep breaths here, in and out. One more. And come back into your body and wiggle your fingers, your toes. And open your eyes. And without moving still, just notice the stillness. Really notice it right here. And just hold on to the stillness throughout the rest of your day if you can. Okay, let's bend our knees. And when you're ready, just let your knees fall to the ground, either to your left or to your right. Use your arm as a pillow for your head. And just stay here for a couple seconds, still noticing that stillness. And you can push yourself up to a seated pose. And that concludes our Yin Yoga practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace.